Welcome back to Legends of the Tabletop. We are continuing with our new series for the 2024 Character Build Challenge using only the new player's handbook. But don't worry, as always, we are not doing any min-maxing or rankings.
Yeah, exactly. This isn't about squeezing out the absolute most powerful build in the book. Because we're only using the 2024 handbook, it is more about the flavor, the fun, the things that we find interesting, and the fresh new look that is being given to us in the 2024 handbook.
Absolutely. We'll be going over some of the updated rules, some of the classes, features, and discussing how they shaped our builds. So stick around and see what we came up with.
Yeah. So today we are building bards.
Bards, man.
Bards. So in the 2024 handbook, it's very laid out, very simply, 5 steps in creating a character. You're going to choose a class, you're going to determine your origin, you're going to do your ability scores, you're going to choose an alignment, and you're going to fill in the details. We're going to follow that pretty much closely. We're not going to do all of the minutia, so we're not going to get into the really like all your skills and all those things, but we'll cover the big things with everyone. So the very first one is determining a class.
That's pretty easy. We did bards.
We picked bards.
So let's talk about our inspiration for bards, for our characters that we built. What was your inspiration?
Well, I love bards. I love playing bards. So when I think of bards, I go back to my childhood. And the very first bard I think I can remember is the cartoon version of Robin Hood. Robin Hood was the iconic classic bard. He's so charismatic. He is so just in that space of being able to control conversations, to be sneaky, to still be a great fighter.
Flirtatious.
And exactly. I love the moment when he's kissing Prince John's fingers and he's plucking off,
sucking all the
gems off the hand. It's such a bard move for him. Love that.
Yeah, so I went with 2. I mean, one of them right off the top of my head, I automatically thought of Mike Myers' character in Austin Powers as Austin Powers. That to me immediately just screams bard, right? He is so charismatic. He's so flirtatious. Ladies love him. Dudes want to be him. The other inspiration that I took was Paul Bettany's character in A Knight's Tale. A little bit very different from the Mike Myers character. But that I loved his vibe. I loved his energy. I love how he commanded and spoke to the crowd. His outfit in that one scene where he's speaking to the large crowd doing the introduction. He has that long leather coat on with the fur collar. I think he's even wearing some sort of like silk pajamas or something underneath. But I just thought he was a really amazing character as a bard. So those are the 2 characters that gave me inspiration for my build.
Yeah, my second bard that I think of a little more recently is going to be Captain Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean. Again, another iconic bard character. The charisma level is insanely high and still has the ability to fight. So that's where I pull from when I think of a bard that I'd like to play or a bard that I'm drawing inspiration from.
Love it. Step 2 is origin, which is determining your background and your species. And for my background, I chose noble. For me, I don't necessarily think of a bard as having a noble background. So I thought it'd be kind of fun as a fun spin. Plus, it kind of went with that Paul Bettany character, I think, for a little more flavor. But for noble, a nobility score, it allows you to add stat bonuses in these areas of strength, intelligence, and the ever important charisma. It also has the feat skilled, which is you gain proficiency in any combination of 3 skills or tools of your choice.
Which I think is really a great way to go with an origin or a background for a bard is getting more skilled. Bards are already going to have so much skill, and now you're just like doubling down on that. That flavor is amazing.
So what did you choose?
I went with Wayfarer, and it's interesting because neither of us took the entertainer background, which is probably like, hey, it's a bard.
Classic bard as entertainer, yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't go that route. I liked Wayfarer. It's a little bit different than the normal mold that you're going to look for, but it always gives you that ability score upgrade, which is your charisma and your dexterity, the two things that bards really want to be
So
great
important.
at. And then it gives you a wisdom bonus if you wanted to take that. I'm not going to take that stat buff, but it's there for you. The feat, though, is why I went with Wayfarer. The origin feat is lucky. As a bard, being able to be lucky is so incredibly important. When you're doing those all important performance checks, you want to be able to succeed at them. The lucky feats changed a little bit in the 2024 handbook from the 2014 version. Instead of rolling your d20 and then trying to decide before the DM tells you if you failed or not, if you want to take that lucky, now it's just you're going to determine in the beginning, I want advantage or I want to impose disadvantage. So lucky, I feel, works so well here. I'm going to do my performance check. I just want to make sure it succeeds. I'm going to give myself advantage on it. I love that. I absolutely love it.
That's awesome. Good choice.
Yeah, thank you. And then the skill proficiency that is associated with that background is insight and stealth. Not necessarily the two things that a bard necessarily needs to be great at, but I feel like when you go take the skills from the bard, you're going to take those bard things that you need to once you get into the level 1 stuff. So this is just a little bit more flavor,
I like it.
A little bit different from
like the flavor, the stealthiness as a bard.
Yeah, I think my bard wants to be a little bit stealthy.
I think they do too. That's cool. So continuing on with step 2 of origin, we are also going to choose our species. And for my bard, I chose a dwarf. And honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a bard as a dwarf before, so I thought that would be really cool. Dwarves, you're going to find them in taverns drinking ale, and I thought how neat it would be to have him maybe just jump up on top of the bar and do a song and dance in true bardic fashion.
So what are some of the traits that come with the dwarf species?
So the dwarfs are getting dark vision, super useful as a bard, dwarven resilience, dwarven toughness, and stone cunning.
All things that, like, in other classes fit really well, but I feel like the bard actually really can benefit from some of those features, like the resilience that you have advantage on saving throws against being poisoned. I think bards are the first guys that are going to go and grab a drink and drink it without thinking about it. Having that
little added powder,
to your build is amazing, and I think it's flavorful and really can make role playing a lot more fun with bard.
Definitely.
I took the Aasimar species for my bard build. I don't think there's anything cooler than growing some wings while I'm performing and on stage being able to fly. So with that in mind, I felt like this is a great species for a bard. You get celestial resistance. You do also get dark vision. You get healing hands, which is great. It's a healing spell in a pinch that comes with your species traits. And you get celestial revelation, which has 3 different options: heavenly wings, inner radiance, and necrotic shroud. 3 amazing abilities that once you get into really can have a flavorful bardic feeling when you're casting them.
I can absolutely see you performing up on a stage using all of those things with your beautiful celestial wings. So step number 3 is ability score. For ease of play, we went with the standard array. So we went 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8, and then adjusted our scores to add our proficiencies.
Yeah. So for my ability scores, I did the traditional, what everyone is going to expect. I put my 2 highest in my dexterity and then in my charisma. And then I made my dump stat my strength. I decided my bard's going to be more a dexterity build than a strength build.
Okay.
How about you?
So for mine, I went with charisma, obviously, classic bard. And then I chose intelligence because of my background as being a noble.
That makes sense. To have that like
I think so.
a high intelligence
Yeah.
score
Smart
with
bard.
that noble background. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right, so let's go into choosing alignment, which is step number 4. What did you choose for your alignment?
It's interesting. I think for bards, there is an idea behind them that they're always going to be a little bit chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
They're not always the easiest people to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
They're very free spirited. They go with the flow. And that can be a little bit chaotic at times.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to take a chaotic character. But I'm going on the chaotic good side.
Okay.
I personally don't like playing evil or bad characters.
Right.
So most of the time, my alignments are either going to be a chaotic good, chaotic neutral, or a lawful good or a lawful neutral. And I feel like my bard is going to be chaotic good, just because I think that suits the build I'm making.
I like it. I went with chaotic neutral for mine. Kind of the same thought process as you. I don't necessarily think bards, or specifically my bard that I built, to be nefarious or malicious. I think both that Mike Myers character and Paul Bettany's character in A Knight's Tale, neither of them were malicious or nefarious. But that doesn't mean they didn't do things that may cause a little bit of drama, may cause some of that chaos, maybe to work out for something in their favor, or maybe to, persuade someone or cause a scene so that they could maybe get what they want out of a situation. So that's why I went with chaotic neutral.
Awesome.
All right, so we are at our last step number 5, and that is the good stuff. We're filling in some of the details, the details of what really makes this character your own.
Yeah. So again, we skipped some of the things like filling in all your skill proficiencies, getting your armor class. Those you can do on your own, but we will go over, getting our character to level 3, where we will do our subclass. So at level 1 for bards, the all-important bardic inspiration comes online. This is something that every bard has in their tool bag. It is a D6 that you can give to any of your allies within 60 feet of you, allowing them to add it to a D20 test. And again, a little change in the 2024 rule versus the 2014 rule is that they can do this, add this bardic inspiration after they've realized that they failed a test. Whereas in the 2014 rule, it says that you have to do it before the GM determines a success or failure.
I like that change.
Yeah.
So level 1, you also get spellcasting. You're a full spellcaster. You get cantrips, you get spell slots, and you get prepared spells at level 1, which is really fun.
Yeah. So basically, as a bard, you're a full spellcaster. You come online with your spells, and you're going to progress just like those other, powerful spellcasting classes.
Mm-hmm. All right, so at level 2, we get expertise. So we are going to gain expertise in 2 of your skill proficiencies of your choice, and it is recommended, obviously, because we're a bard, to choose performance and persuasion.
Yeah. So, expertise is huge. It's being good at the things that you want to be good at. And so getting that, so early in the game, expertise is clutch for your bard build.
Absolutely.
Also at level 2, you're going to get Jack of all trades, which rounds out your bard to be such a great utility player.
Mm-hmm.
Jack of all trades allows you to add half of your proficiency bonus rounded down to anything that you're not already proficient in and using that proficiency bonus. So really rounding you out, making it so that your bard can have a level of success no matter what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. And then in addition to those 2 things, you also get your bard subclass.
Yeah, level 3. Now you're coming online, your bard subclass. So what subclass did you decide to go with?
I went with the College of Valor. I thought that played nicely with my background as a noble. Even though I'm not the full on stereotypical bard musician, there still is a musical element to this college, which I really liked because it's more of the storyteller aspect. These bards are preserving memories of the past. They're historians, but with a musical spin on it. And they're still performers because with that history and the telling of those stories of old, they might be performing to a crowd or maybe to individuals in a bar to relay that information in those stories. I like that a lot. Okay, so at level 3, we also get combat inspiration. So that's defense and offense. And then something that I was really excited about is martial training because now the bards are going to be right up there with everyone else in battle. And we're getting proficiency with martial weapons and training with medium armor and shields. And in addition to that, we can also use simple martial weapon as a spellcasting focus to cast spells from our bard spell list.
Yeah, I mean, being able to get martial weapons and shields is so clutch for a bard. And now you can grab that rapier that you want and a shield, and if you want, hop in the fray and get right down with everyone else
The
while
rest
you're
of your party.
spellcasting.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I took for my subclass the College of Dance. I feel like
It's like bard.
very bard, right? And it's new to the player's handbook. I absolutely love it. It is what I feel most bards are going to be, which is not the fighter. They're going to be the person that's like, I'm not wearing armor. How am I protecting myself? So at level 3 with your subclass, you're able to get what is called unarmored defense, in which you can add your dexterity modifier, your charisma modifier, and you do a +10, and that's your AC. So instead of being able to, wear something that's going to protect you, you're actually just dancing out of any of those damaging strikes from other people.
Very Austin Powers with the dance moves.
Yeah. You also get unarmored defense, agile strike, and bardic damage at level 3.
Awesome. So at level 6, I get extra attack, which I'm really excited about because if I get to be in battle with everyone, this extra attack is going to allow me to do a little stabbing, then maybe a little vicious mockery, and then a little more stabbing in combat.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of those features that come on a little bit later on in the game, but building a bard that is able to, fight in combat with everyone else, getting extra attack is a necessity.
Yeah.
Because, fighting is one of the things you're trying to be great at. And being able to cast a spell, a cantrip spell, and also do that attack is key because you're not only cutting them with your words, you're cutting them with a sword.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah. For myself, the feature that I'm looking forward to in later on in the game also actually is a level 6 ability for the College of Dance, and that is tandem footwork. The ability allows you to expend 1 bardic inspiration die and add that to your group's initiative roll as long as they're within 30 feet of you. This is a clutch support ability. And I feel like the bard that I'm building is going to be a support bard, not a damage dealer. So being able to say to the party, hey, guess what? We're all rolling a D8, or I'm rolling a D8, possibly adding 8 to your initiative roll so that we all can go first and hit immediately is amazing. So I'm really looking forward to that in the later gameplay.
Cool.
We're going to take a moment and talk about some of the spells that we took. That's important with bards. They are spellcasters. So just take a look at a quick couple spells that were important to our builds. Tell me, give me 1 cantrip, 1 level 1, 1 level 2 spell.
Okay. Cantrips. I chose friends for one of mine.
Yeah.
I think it's really important as a bard to persuade someone to think that they are your friend.
Absolutely.
Level 1.
Okay.
Let's do command. Crowd control, right? I
Yeah.
think that's really important. That Paul Bettany character.
Yep.
That's what came to mind when I chose that one.
Yeah, just that quick halt
Mm-hmm.
while you're in the middle of combat.
Mm-hmm.
And if they fail, they just stop doing whatever they were doing. You can control them, put them to the side, deal with other stuff as you go. Yeah, absolutely.
And then level 2, I did suggestion.
Okay.
So as a bard, I might be in a situation where I need someone to do something for me. I suggest they go get a key to open up a lock or to get a key to bring to me. And I thought that was a really cool spell to take as a bard.
Yeah, perfect. Those are such great bardic spells. Great that you have them in your bag.
What'd you choose?
So, not so that we have the same spells,
Mhm.
I'm going to pick 3 different things. One cantrip, Vicious Mockery.
Classic
That
bard.
is, yeah, it's a classic bard
Yeah.
spell. If you don't have it, you're not playing your bard. Then a level 1, I'm leaning very heavily into being a support character. So I took Fairy Fire. That way I can give advantage to my allies when they're doing their attacks. Again, I'm not building a bard to be a big damage dealer. So being able to support everybody else in their initiatives that spell felt good to me. And then lastly, for a level 2, I said, you know what? I should have one spell that does some damage.
Mhm.
So I took Shatter. And thematically, I feel like it would be really cool as I'm doing my fancy footwork, I'm dancing, and I hit the high note and I cast Shatter
Mhm.
and everything explodes around me.
Mhm.
And that one causing some damage. So those are the 3 spells I took.
Maybe breaking some hearts along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I like it. All right, well, that wraps up this episode of the 2024 character build. Today, Jonathan and I built our bards. I hope all of you enjoyed watching us build these characters together as much as we enjoyed putting everything together behind the scenes.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And be sure to stay tuned because we are going to do many more character builds for the 2024 Player's Handbook. We're going to have fresh ideas and different adventuring themes to go along with them.
And until then, keep dreaming up your perfect character builds. And as always, stay legendary. Stay fresh too, cheese bags.
Hey, Joe.